day one. I am so excited that you decided to show up. So listen, this first day is very, very important because this is the day that we start to lay the foundation so that you can be successful and get the most out of it. Okay. Now, again, the important thing I want you to remember here is to make sure that you embrace these EI secrets and that you brand them in your spirit so that you are ready to use them in a moment's notice. And that's the most important thing because we're talking about emotional intelligence. We're talking about emotional wellness. So we want to keep that present. I'm going to give you multiple ways to look at emotional intelligence and how to maintain emotional wellness from here on out, okay? So today's particular secret for the day is what we like to call emotional willpower. Yeah, and I want you to think about that for a second because willpower is extremely important. So what is emotional willpower? That's gonna be the ability to override an unwanted thought, a feeling, or impulse. And I want you to think about that for a second, right? The ability to override, right, an unwanted thought or impulse. You know, that moment when you feel like clapping back, or you feel like responding, you feel like sending that email, right? Or you just feel like having a bad mood or a bad attitude. I think we've all been through that when you just want to go there. That emotional willpower is going to give you the strength not to do it. Because just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? And so we talk about the emotional willpower and why is that a benefit to us? Because we want to make sure that we give ourselves a fair opportunity to be the best version of ourselves every single day. So we need to have that willpower. It's really about taking the appropriate action, right? In the moment, even when you don't feel like it, or even in a situation that you don't like. See, because a lot of times you could be around somebody you don't like, be in an environment you don't like, and that kind of emotionally charges you, and then you forget, right, that you need to be practicing and having some emotional willpower. So that's really, really important. And the ways to be able to use your willpower, number one, I need you to believe that this is real. Because if you don't believe in this, if you're sitting here and you're just going through the motion, then it's not going to really work for you. You have to believe that emotional intelligence is real, that emotional wellness is real, which means that this emotional willpower is real, okay? Then you gotta decide to use it, right? So it's one thing to believe it, right? Then you gotta actually use it, right? And one of the ways to really be able to exercise and practice that emotional willpower is to take that purposeful pause. Remember, the purposeful pause is when you put some space in between your responses. And remember, that space could be just a few seconds, but really what you're trying to do is give your, we like to say when you take a purposeful pause, you're giving growth time to catch up with you, okay? So that's the strategy for the day, very simple. I want you to think about emotional willpower, what it is, how it can be a benefit to you. And I just want you to sit with it. And I want you to pay attention to anything that happens to you the next 24 hours and see if you have the ability to overcome that urge, right? That, you know, can you resist, you know, that attitude and that mood that you may normally have. And if this is not a problem for you, then I want you to observe those around you and see if you can notice it in others, okay? So I'll see you tomorrow for your next EI Secrets. This is day one, emotional willpower. Don't forget to take the short quiz after this. Watch it again if you need to, because this is very important. We are building a foundation to create you a successful emotional wellness program. Peace.